Greeting, boys and girls, and everyone else who watches this series. We are back and we are on lesson number 11, and it's saying the unexpected servant. The unexpected servant. Probably we could maybe look for some words, maybe that mean the same thing as unexpected. With me here, I would see maybe something which is unforeseen or something unanticipated. You did not anticipate that something like that would happen, or say something which is sudden, surprisingly. I don't know, but probably in our lesson we are going to learn something along those lines. Whatever that happened, it was something unexpected, something unanticipated, surprising, something which was sudden. I would say that. I'll read you our memory text for this week. It reads, "Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many." That's Matthew chapter 20, verse 26 to verse 28. From this, we're learning that if you want to be great, you should be a servant. I think as of now, we might not really understand it, but then the verse is trying to emphasize that if you want to be great, you should be a servant. So there are things that you should do that servants do if you want to be great, if you want to be the first. That's what the verse is emphasizing. So have you ever tried to help someone in need and they were rude in return? They maybe say things that were not so nice. Would you help them in any way maybe next time you meet them? I don't know. I think you need to think about that. To say, if I offered to help, you're the one who's actually offering the help, and you see that these people, this person, they need help, but then you give them that help and then they refuse, or some of them would even give you rough words, rude words. So this story will teach us, this is Jesus' example teaching us what to do when something unexpected happens. So last time we were on lesson number 10, which spoke when Peter and John went to that upper room and prepared for the Passover. So this time it's now on the day of the Passover. Jesus and his disciples, they went to the upper room, and when they seated, sure they were seated in a circle or something, and Jesus was also there. So they looked around to see if there was a servant anywhere, but unfortunately there was no servant around. So what would happen during that time, during their era, is that servants would wash their master's feet when they come home. So even guests, usually there was no really means of transport, the buses and the cars that we have nowadays, they were not there during that time. So people used to walk long distances, even to up to 50 kilometers. When you read the four gospel, you'll notice that Jesus would walk like miles and miles to go where he would be preaching. So what would happen is, when you walk on dusty roads, your legs, they'll be full of dirt. So what would happen when the master arrives at home? His servant would come with a dish full of water, and then the master would sit down, and then the servant would clean the master's feet, so that when the master goes into the house, the feet will be clean. So when they were seated, the 12 disciples and Jesus, they looked around, they could not see any servant around. So all of them, they just seated and they're like, so who is going to do the washing? They are looking at each other. I'm sure Judas would be saying, I'm the most educated one here, so probably this guy's Peter, who is a fisherman, would go and do that. But then it could not happen like that. What then happened is when Jesus saw the tension in the house, he decided to go around, took off his robe and put on a towel, and then he took the dish and the water. Then he went to the first disciple and he offered to wash his feet. Such humility. So he washed all the 12 disciples' feet. And when he arrived where Peter was seated, Peter actually refused to say, "You know what, Master? You cannot wash my feet. Sit down and I will do that to you." But then Jesus refused and he told him, "I should do this. This is my duty." And even offered to say, if you want to wash, then you should wash even the head and the whole body. But then, what are we getting from this story? What are we learning? I think the first thing is humility. So when our memory verse was speaking about the servant, right? It then emphasized that if you want to be great in Jesus' way, if you want to learn to serve, you should serve following Jesus' example. And what is Jesus' example? He was full of humility. Nowadays, I know for some of the guys that I play with, they would say, self has died. You know, when you see someone, whatever that they're doing, and you know that with my kind of work, my kind of education, this is a no thing for me to do, but then you offer help to do that. I also want you guys to go out there and probably at your place, at your home, or even around the area. I want you to think of the job that is not very nice to do. Probably that maybe at your place there's someone who does the dishes and they're not allowed to do that, or there's someone who does the gardening, or I don't know, who picks the litter for you. I want you to offer to do that just for a day. Not even for a day, even for a night, to say, if it's about the dishes, if your family is someone that do the dishes for you, I want you today to just go and say, today you're not washing those dishes, I'm doing that. Today you're not picking that litter, I'm doing that. I want you to tell me how you felt after doing that, because that's being an unexpected servant, and that's how we can be served if you follow Jesus' example. And one of the things that he did was to do that, ever the washing of the feet, which was a servant's job. You know, when they were going actually to the upper room, they were thinking that probably this is the time when Jesus is going to tell us about his kingdom. This is the day he's going to tell us that you are the prime minister, you are going to be this, you're going to be the secretary, you're going to be the minister in this field. That's what they were thinking. But then to their surprise, it didn't happen like that. Jesus actually came and started washing their feet. Self has died. Humility. Yes, so that's what we are asking, what we are learning from this. So I want you, boys and girls, mommies and daddies, to go today and ask from God for strength to do these things, because with our own strength we cannot be able to do it. We have so much self in us. Pride is so we are full of pride in the things that we cannot do, which the Lord is telling us to do. But because we're full of self, full of pride, we are not being able to do those. So I want you to go and think, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing that I'm not doing? Because I think I'm too proud to do those things. I think I'm too educated to do such a thing. I want you to go and do that. And for those that have done, that are going to do it, I want you to tell me how you felt after. Probably you would send a message or even just comment in the comment section. So I've prepared something here. It's not so nice. I'm at work, you see. I hope you guys can see this. Okay, so These are the 12 disciples. I've made these circles, I've labeled them, and I've put the 12 disciples' names into it. So what I've done is I've labeled the 12 disciples maybe around that circle. And then what I've done is I had probably written inside the circle what each disciple felt after Jesus washed their disciples, or during the process how they felt. So when you look there, here I had written for Peter, I said he felt challenged or probably felt moved to say that if Christ, my leader, is doing this, what about me? I've also written for Matthew, whom I thought he felt unworthy, of himself. And for Andrew, he felt he was in awe to say, really? Jesus doing this thing, Yeah, probably for Judas Iscariot, he was disappointed to say the person that I was thinking is going to be, a chief, is going to be a king, is washing, our dirty feet. What kind of a king does that? So I was actually disappointed. So I want you guys to go and you write all the, you just put circles, 12 circles, and then you write you write at the center, say the 12 disciples' reactions, and you probably think what they felt, how they reacted when Jesus was washing their feet. You tell me. You could even take a picture and send in the comment section. And after that, I also want you to go down and write your circle there and write your name there, and you tell me how you felt after you've done something that you think this is of a low level according to me. If you're educated, I want you to do a job that you think uneducated people are doing, and you let me know how you felt after that, and probably maybe you could be able to understand the 12 disciples' reactions. Be blessed this week, and have a blessed Sabbath. And I pray that the Lord helps us to be people who are not full of self, people who are not full of pride, but people that consider others, and people that know how to handle our feelings and our emotions in a better way. Thank you for following, and thank you for liking the videos.